I am 74 years old, and I am sitting alone in a quiet house that used to feel much louder. There are days now when the silence feels heavier than anything I carried when I was younger, and today it feels especially heavy because I finally understand something I avoided for a long time. I see now why my children drifted away. I didn't come to this understanding all at once. It didn't arrive like a moment of clarity or a sudden confession. It crept in slowly, the way age does. One day, you notice your hands look different. Another day, you realize you can't remember the last time someone called just to talk. And then, one evening, you sit at the kitchen table and realize that the distance between you and your children didn't start with a fight. It started with time, with neglect that felt harmless when it was happening. At my age, time feels different. It doesn't stretch out anymore. It closes in. I don't talk about death often, but it's there, in the background of everything now. In doctor appointments, in the way friends disappear from my phone, contacts one by one, in the way I think carefully before buying anything new, knowing it may outlast me. I'm not telling this story because I expect forgiveness. I'm telling it because I finally understand it. And understanding it this late carries a certain weight. When my children were young, I thought I was doing everything right. I worked steadily. I paid the bills. I showed up when it mattered, at least when it was obvious that it mattered. I believed that being reliable was the same as being present. I believed love could be proven through consistency alone. I was wrong, but I didn't know it then. Back in my 30s and 40s, life felt like something that needed managing. There were schedules to keep, responsibilities that didn't wait, and a constant sense that if I slowed down, something important would fall apart. I woke up early. I came home, tired. I sat at the table with paperwork spread out while my kids talked around me. I heard them, but I didn't always listen. I told myself there would be time later. Later, when work eased up. Later, when they were older. Later, when things were more stable. Later became my favorite word without me realizing it. There were evenings when one of them would try to tell me something small, something that didn't sound urgent, a problem with a friend, a story about school. I'd nod. I'd say, "That's nice," or "We'll talk about it later." Sometimes I meant it. Sometimes I didn't. They learned quickly which parts of me were available and which weren't. I didn't yell much. I wasn't cruel. I wasn't absent in the way people usually mean when they talk about bad parents. I was there physically. Emotionally, I was often elsewhere, thinking about work, thinking about money, thinking about what still needed to be done. I thought providing was the same as caring. As they grew older, they stopped trying as hard. Conversations got shorter. Answers became simpler. I mistook that for independence. I told myself it was normal. Kids grow up. They pull away. That's life. I didn't ask myself what role I played in that pulling away. There were birthdays I missed because I was too tired. School events I skipped because I convinced myself they wouldn't remember. Long stretches where I assumed silence meant everything was fine. I didn't notice that silence was becoming a habit. When they left home, I told myself that was the natural order of things. Children leave. Parents adjust. I felt a quiet pride watching them build lives of their own. I also felt relief, less responsibility, fewer demands on my time. I didn't realize I was training myself to live without them. Phone calls became occasional. Visits were brief. I blamed distance, jobs, busy schedules. I told myself we'd reconnect when things slowed down. But things don't slow down the way you think they will. Years passed. I grew older. They grew busier. And somewhere in between, familiarity faded. I started to feel like a guest in their lives rather than a constant presence. The turning point wasn't dramatic. There was no argument, no final conversation. It was a quiet moment that stays with me now. I was sitting alone on a Sunday afternoon, staring at my phone, wondering if I should call. I realized I didn't know if it would be welcome. I didn't know what to ask. I didn't know how much of myself I was allowed to take up in their day. That uncertainty hurt more than any outright rejection would have. Then came the illness, not mine, my wife's, their mother. It wasn't sudden, but it was relentless. Appointments, treatments, long nights. I thought this would bring us closer again. A shared crisis often does. They helped when they could. They showed concern. But there was still distance. Practical support, not emotional closeness. I felt it then, sharply. I had raised capable adults, but I had not built enduring intimacy. When she died, the house changed. Everything echoed. I grieved her deeply, but alongside that grief came something else, regret, not just for what we lost together, but for what I had lost with our children long before. After the funeral, they returned to their lives. I stayed behind, surrounded by reminders of a past that felt fuller than my present. That was when clarity arrived. Too late, perhaps, but unmistakable. I realized I had taught my children how to live without me. Not intentionally, not cruelly, just through repetition, through absence disguised as responsibility, through postponement that stretched into years. I had assumed love was understood without being spoken. I assumed presence could be deferred. I assumed there would always be time to repair what felt small. There isn't. What's lost now isn't just time. It's ease. It's the natural closeness that comes from shared days and unguarded conversations. I can't recreate that. I can't go back and sit on the floor with them when they wanted attention. I can't rewind to the nights when a question lingered unanswered because I was too distracted to notice it mattered. I can reach out now. Sometimes I do, but the space between us has shape now. It has history. It doesn't disappear just because I finally see it. There are things you can apologize for, and there are things that don't fit into an apology because no single moment caused them. They were built quietly over time. This is one of those things. I don't blame my children. I understand them. They learned early what to expect from me. They adapted. They built lives that didn't require my presence because I showed them how. Understanding that doesn't make it easier. It makes it heavier. I sit in this house and think about how I once believed success meant being needed less. I thought independence was the goal. I didn't realize how much connection depends on small, repeated acts of attention. I was never cruel, but I was often unavailable. That distinction doesn't matter much now. If I speak to you directly now, it's not to tell you what to do. I wouldn't presume that. Lives are complicated. Responsibilities are real. I only know what I wish I had understood sooner. I wish I had known that time isn't something you save. It's something you spend, whether you mean to or not. I wish I had known that being tired isn't a reason to disappear from the people who want you. I wish I had known that children don't remember the bills you paid. They remember whether you looked up when they spoke. I thought there would be a later version of myself who had more energy, more patience, more availability. That version never arrived. There was only the version I chose to be again and again. Now I am 74. My days are quieter. My phone doesn't ring often. Holidays feel different. Not empty, exactly, but distant, like watching something through glass. I don't expect things to change dramatically. Some distances remain. I've learned to accept that. Acceptance doesn't mean approval. It just means honesty. I live with gratitude for what I had and sorrow for what I missed. They exist together now. Neither cancels the other out. If there's one thing I know with certainty, it's that ordinary moments are the ones that matter most. And they don't announce themselves as important while they're happening. I learned that too late. There isn't much time left for me to learn new lessons. Mostly, there is time to sit with the ones I already have. This is one of them. I see now why my children drifted away, and I carry that understanding quietly, the way you carry something fragile, knowing you can't fix it, only hold it honestly.